What's going on, devs? Welcome back to AppDev channel. So in today's episode, as you can see on the screen, we are gonna create this to-do list, okay? You type something, hit enter, and it gets added, okay? It's a nice project, a nice chance for you to learn a lot about JavaScript. And as you can see here, if you want to mark as complete, we just left click, okay? And if you want to delete, right click and you delete those items. I just came across with this nice and clean UI design on the internet, okay? The creator is this guy, Pete Hart. Thank you so much. He is a ex-Reacting at Facebook, and we're gonna do that using just vanilla JavaScript. If you're new here and want to increase your web dev skills, subscribe and click that little bell down below so you get notified every time I post a new video. Alright devs, let's start really from the beginning, okay, from scratch. In the beginning, all we have here is this to-do list folder, and inside this one we're gonna create our files, okay? The first one, our markup, then our style.css, okay? And the main one here is gonna be our app.js, okay? Let's close this for now and let's create here our boilerplate. Our markup here is quite simple, okay? And let's go down here to the title, and in the title let's say to-do list app. Alright, we also want to have here a link connecting our markup to our CSS, and down below in the closing body tag we're gonna have a script pointing to our app.js. In the body, let's create our markup, okay? Let's start with our h1 to-dos, okay? And under this one, let's have a form and ID form, so you can grab that with our CSS or JavaScript, okay? And inside this one, let's have the input class and ID input for the same reasons, okay? And here we're gonna also need a placeholder, okay? So the user knows where he's gonna type his to-dos. So placeholder, and here let's say something like enter your to-do, and under this one you're gonna have this UL, okay? The class is gonna be to-dos and ID also to-dos, okay? Under this one let's have two LIs just for styling on the CSS, okay? This is gonna be populate using JavaScript. So we have both of them. Let's go live and see them side by side, okay? Now let's deal with this ugly markup here, alright? The first thing we're gonna do here is change the font. So let's move to the Google Fonts and grab the pop-ins. Let's just paste it here, okay? Let's have a CSS reset, universal selector, and box size is gonna be border box, alright? Now moving to the body. And the body here, let's start with the color. Background color is gonna be this one. You can pause and copy, alright? And then here, let's also have the color. The color is gonna be a gray color 444, alright? And the font family, now let's apply that one. It's gonna be Poppins and sans serif as a fallback in case of something goes wrong. And now let's center this element here, okay? It's very simple. Display flex. The direction, we want that to the top of each other, so flex direction column. The height here, let's say 100 VH. So to center this is quite simple. Justify content is gonna be center along the main axis, and along the cross axis here, align item center, and as you can see, the content is right in the middle, okay? I see people asking for that all the time. As you can see, it's quite simple. Margin 0, and overflow is going to be hidden. Get rid of any type of scroll bars, okay? Okay, and the next step here, we're going to grab this H1, the to-dos, and let's make some changes, okay? Let's change the call F65058FF, okay? And let's also increase the font size hugely to 10 rem, okay? As you can see, very big, nice and big. Text align is going to be center, alright? And let's decrease also the opacity to 0.5, okay? And now let's grab the form itself. Let me come down here and yep, form. And let's add some box shadow, okay? Let's apply 0 for pixels and 10 pixels blur. And the color here is gonna be black and the opacity .1. And as you can see, we have a nice shadow effect on our form, okay? Continue down here. Let's give it a max width of 100% of its parent. And the width here is gonna be 400 pixels. Alright. Next, we're gonna grab this area here and let's apply some style, okay? Let's start by grabbing this one, .input, okay? As you remember, the class input. And let's get rid of any border with border none. And here, the color is gonna be this RGB 45, 47, 83. Okay. The font size, let's increase that to 2 rem. As you can see, it's much better now. Let's apply some padding. 1 rem top and bottom and 2 rem left and right. Display here is gonna be, if I can type, is gonna be a block. Okay. The width is going to be 100% of its parent, so the same size. And now let's also apply some effect to the placeholder. So you take the input placeholder and the color, let's pick a nice color here. It's going to be D5, a grayish color. Okay, and now we're going to grab the LIs itself, okay, wherever the user is going to type. And let's change the background to the white color. Padding is going to be 0, margin 0, okay? And let's also get rid of those bullet points, okay? With list style none, all right? And now we're going to grab the todos.li itself, okay? Let's apply some border top of 1 pixel. It's gonna be solid, and let's pick a color here, this E5 3 times, okay? The cursor is gonna be pointer, so the user can mark as complete or delete it. The font size here, let's increase that to 1.5, much better, easy to read. Let's also apply a padding of 1 rem top and bottom and 2 rem left and right, and yeah, now it fits with the form, okay? Okay, and now we wanna grab this one and make it different when it's complete, okay? So in order to do that, we go back here to our markup and let's give a class of complete. This way we can go back to CSS and apply some style, okay? Actually, it's gonna be 2 things. We're gonna change the color, decrease in the focus, and also give a line through, okay? So to do li completely, color here is going to be a grayish color, b6, okay, b6 3 times, and text decoration, let's have a line through, okay? So this way you know that you did that action already. Okay, this part is done, and now we want to tell the user, like a documentation, that with one left click he can mark as complete and the right click he can delete, okay? So let's come back here to our HTML, our markup, and let's say that in the small tag, left click to toggle completed, okay? Let's break it here in PR. And let's show him the second option, right click to delete, okay? The markup here is actually very simple. Okay, this part is done. Now let's go back to CSS and let's apply some style, okay? First we have to give some margin top, because it's too close to our form and we want that a little down. Margin top 3 rem. Text align center, okay? Let's give some more space here so you can see what's going on. Let's change the color to this grayish color, and yeah, nice. And now we have one last thing to do here, okay? Before we go into JavaScript, we have this focus here, this focus thing here. Every time you click here, you see some blue focus, and you want to change that to the color that fits our project, okay? So outlining color here is gonna be this EDDC D8FF. When I click here, and you see that now it fits the project, okay? One more thing, I told you that we don't need those LIs, they will be auto-populated using JavaScript. Alright, so that's it. We are ready to go into JavaScript. I am back into the markup just to show you the thing that we are gonna bring into the DOM. Okay, we have the form, the to-dos, and input. Alright, let me give some more space here. And okay, let's bring them into the DOM. Let's select that with document get element by ID. Remember we gave that ID, and let's save that to a variable called form. Okay, let's do the same thing here to our input. Let's select that and save that into another variable and call input. This way we're gonna be able to manipulate them. Okay, first we bring it to the DOM, and then we can manipulate this element. All right, so const to-dos get element by ID here, all our to-dos. All right, and now we're gonna take this form and let's add EventListener to it on submit. Okay, let's pass in a event. Okay, and let's take the same event and let's prevent its default. In this case it is refresh the page. Okay, and let's have here a add to-do function. All right, and now we'll go ahead and create that function. Okay, function add to-do, and let's pass in a to-do. All right, let's come to our body and let to-do text and set that to input wherever the value is. Okay, now here if to-do is passed in, if you have a to-do, we want to set to-do text to to-do dot text. Okay, actually I can show you what you are doing now. Okay, let me come down here. Actually I can show you what's going on here. Okay, console.log our to-do text. Let me show you. I'm gonna type something here, press enter, and you can see it's logged out. Okay, the learn.js. All right, so far so good. Let's continue. All right, and now we're gonna build our LIs, our list items, based on wherever the user types in. Okay, so let's comment out so it's easy for you to know what we're doing. If there is a to-do, all right, we want to create a list item. So const to-do element, and let's set that to document create a li. All right, that's quite simple. So now if the to-do, and also let's include the to-do.completed, we want to toggle that class that we just create. Okay, the completed. Okay, so let's take the to-do L class list add completed. All right, so far so good. It's quite simple but powerful. Let's grab the to-do element dot inner text, and let's set that to to-do text wherever it is. Okay, and now we're gonna actually add it to the DOM. Okay, so that you can see that as a list. Okay, in order to do that, let's grab our to-do UL. Okay, another list, and let's append child our to-do element. Okay, so if I type here learn CSS and hit enter, yeah, it's here, it's down here, you can see. Let me show you one more time. Learn HTML, enter, and here it is. But there's a problem, it does delete. So let's have input.value and set that to nothing. So HTML, hit enter, and it's cleans. Okay, so the input value goes to nothing. All right. And now let's work on mark this as completed. Okay, this is actually very simple. All we have to do is use JavaScript to toggle between the class completed and not completed. Okay, so let's take our to-do element, add the event list on click. Okay, and when you click, we're gonna call this function. And in here, let's grab our to-do list, class list, toggle completed. Okay, so every time you click here, it's gonna toggle between the class of completed or not completed. So if I click here, completed and not completed. All right. Okay, and as you can see, it's become simple. If you divide that in small chunks of code, it becomes easier. So now we wanted to delete. Okay, in order to delete, let's take the to-do element, add the event list on context menu. Context menu is this one that shows you these options on the right button. And let's pass in a event list. Okay, let me show you here. If you click here on the right button, this is the default behavior. This is going to open these options, but we don't want that. We want to delete. So let's take this E and dot prevent default. Let me show you now working. I'm clicking right now and it's showing nothing. All right, so it worked. And now let's be able to really delete those to-do elements. So to-do element dot remove. Let's populate this in order to show you that's working. Learn is CSS, learn JS, and learn React. This is a nice project. Okay, let me right click, and yeah, it's working nicely. All right, the idea here now is save those into the API local storage. Okay, let's get those items, use the getItem method, and let's pass in our to-do. Okay, but in this case here, we want the object instead of a string. So let's have JSON.parse and just wrap around this one. So we're gonna get the JavaScript object. Okay, JSON.parse transform this string into a JavaScript object. All right, and now let's save our to-dos. Let me comment here so you know exactly what we're doing. Save our to-dos to local storage. If to-dos, okay, if there is a to-do, what do you want to do? We want to loop through it. Okay, to-dos. For each to-do, what do you want to do? We want to run the function add to-do and pass in our to-do. All right. Okay, devs, and finally we're gonna create that function. Okay, let's have a function. Let's call that update local storage. All right, and what this one is gonna do, we're gonna have our to-do element, and let's set that to document current selector all li. Okay, and down here we want to create a empty array. Okay, so const to-dos, and let's set that to a empty array. We're gonna be populate that using JavaScript when the user hits enter. Okay, so let's loop through it. To-do l dot for each to-do element, what do you want to do? Let me have this function arrow. To-dos push. Okay, we're gonna be pushing this object. This is gonna have the text to-do element in a text. Wherever the inner text is, that's what we're gonna push. All right, and completed to-do element class list contains. We use the method contains completed. Okay, and down here we are going to use the setItem to store our value into the browser storage. Okay, and also the object what we're gonna do, we're gonna have the JSON string file, so we're gonna transform this JavaScript object into a string. All right, let me show you. Okay, and now we should give it a try. Okay, so let me try it here. Learn.js, as you can see, is stored in the local storage. All right, then React, one more, and yeah, both of them are here. Let me reload, and they are still here. What if I mark them as completed? I reload, and they're no longer here. Let me select both of them, reload, they're not here. So it looks like we have another issue that we have to solve now. Let's look for it. Looks like in here we have to call our function, okay? Completely here, okay? Paste, and let's give it another try, okay? Let me save before, and I mark it complete. I reload, and yeah, it's still marked as complete. As you can see, it was something very simple. All I have to do was copy our logic into the completed, okay? And we can do the same to the remove. I will remove this one. Let me show you. I'm gonna reload this one, and yeah, it's no longer here. It's working pretty nice. Let me close this for now. Okay guys, I really hope you like it. If you like it, you know what to do. Subscribe, and you also click that little bell down below so you get notified every time I post a new video. See you in the next one.